Oh, go ahead and test this. All right. Great. Let's do that. This will see what it comes back. This will see what comes back. All right, how are we looking? Can do it. All right, how are we looking? Can do it. Well, I think it's going to be about as good as it's going to get. All right, how are we looking? Can do it. Well, I think it's going to be about as good as it's going to get. All right. All right, how are we looking? All right, Brad.
Well, I think it's going to be about as good as it's going to get.
All right.
All right, how we looking? Okay,
All right, Brad.
well, I think it's going to be about as good as it's going to get.
Okay, so we're gonna give this a whirl. Uh, let's go to the newest version of this. I want to say PHX24. All right. I think this is it. We'll go ahead, give this a try. I see I got a couple of people watching for some reason. Say anything or my mic keeps cutting out, please go ahead and tell me. So, just as a reminder for notes, this is going to be something I am really going to take some time on each hole. The goal is to get a tour-worthy approval. Challenge circuit would be the target player, and something I just like. Don't be afraid when I go in. I know you're close, and I know the big thing is that everybody wants to be done. Just just don't be afraid to make the necessary changes. So blue, pin 1, looking good. I'm going to actually go no wind. And we'll give this a whirl. Don't take this as overly critical. I think there are some things that are more musts, and I'll try to address those. I think there are going to be others that are a little bit more like preference, right? So my first that this hole looks really good. Lighting actually looks really good. I love the crowd down there. Your hole sign number 1 is black. There's nothing wrong with it. It just doesn't catch the eye. It's meant to catch the eye. I would make it a red or a yellow or something that's going to make it. It helps just add a little color of pop to it, and it will stand out a little bit more. So that is what I would do first thing is I would add some distinction to it. My next, I would move your waypoint, your way line right here, just because even yesterday I don't think I adjusted it and went into the water. Wind behind you, you're good. So I would adjust that so you're more like right here. City looks good. With some plant meter, you might want to make sure that you put red stakes around the water. So you'll want to red stake this. I might plant a little bit around here and some of those lighter, those lower bushes. You could probably clean some of those up. And I would put in some of the berries, some bushes here. I can show you how to do that if you'd like, or what I would do, and kind of make this kind of a bush grass area that people can go into. But I would put, make sure this is red staked around that water, and that's going to be for all of it. Other than that, yeah, looking good. I'd maybe, if it's outside the area of like the mulch, I'd probably get rid of it. So like maybe with this or just move it in. Just to kind of clean it up, I'd probably throw a couple of other little grass variations in there. But like a lot of this type yellow grass, I like the look of it with the lighting. I'd put in along here with those bushes. Kind of like what you did up there with that. I think that looks good. I think that looks really good. So yeah, okay. You can see the bunkers well. Very good. Other pin sets doing good. Here we go. I'd also make sure you put red stakes around that water. Anywhere you have water, Make sure that you put a red stake just kind of around the hole. Like the transitions, man, of that look so much better. Just really nice. Really nice. It's a big step up. Bunker sculpting looks good. Very good. So, flat bunker. The play will be poor. There is a, look like a little bit of that, see that brown spot right next to now my head? I'd probably put some heavy rough in there so it's all uniform. That is very much a preference thing. That's not a must. The red markers are a little bit more of a must. And I definitely have the hole signs match the flags. So if the flags are going to be red, have the hole signs be red. Very good. Very good. I made a suggestion yesterday to kind of raise this up a little bit towards the back. It looks like you did. I like it. Keep it from going off. The bunkers look good. There's a lot of dead space in through here. This is an area I'll be focusing on this afternoon or tonight with it. Is what do we think? If anything, I would pull the fairway out. Not that you're necessarily going to have it, but I would pull the fairway out to at least here, and I would maybe put like a little pair of bunkers here. I might have said this before. Some things might be repeating. So maybe if people are thinking about doing a run up, they've got to think about carrying these. But I would extend your visual up here so there's not so much dead space. Just make sure that's completely a visual thing. I like the houses in the background. I like the buildings back there. Maybe something like I always liked like a water tower or something like that. I think it always looks nice. Make sure the thing is flat. Very good. And fasten it. So that should not roll off. With the long club, I would probably lift that back side up a little bit more where I'm at. That little crown. Just lift this side up. That way I'm kind of hitting more into it uphill. Just because since you're hitting the longer club in, you can't stop those as easy. So people will get frustrated with that one. Very good. Very good. Excellent. I'm trying to look in the background as well with my eyes, trying to see where the areas go that it's the environment is good. Like if you look at this picture, there's not a place where you can look at something and it hasn't been addressed. There, that number 3 is that black. It kind of blends in. It's a little bit more difficult to see. Nothing's popping out. I would make it red. Again, just make it red. I still like up here, like these bunkers are supposed to be a little bit more intimidating. You've got a lot of them up here. I can only see a little bit of that front. They're massive on sight lines right now. So this area in here, take your circle fuzzy brush and put it about right here and expand it so it's probably, yay big, and lower it about 6 or 7 feet. So this is very visual, and this one up here is very visual. And then that looks much, much more intimidating that I don't want to go left, or I don't want to go right, excuse me. Then, yes, what you did here, do that with hole one, and red stake it. Make sure it's red staked. Very tight pinch, that's fine. You might even want to see it, instead of this like curving in, have like right here, extend, so you give a little bit more if you want to lay up. It's a little bit more of a landing area. So you can take on this, but if you miss it right, you're going to be in these bunkers. Just a thought. Otherwise, again, looks pretty good. But this, I think, appears a must. This, I think, appears a must. See where it puts me. Hopefully I'm fairway. Good. All right. This is, I think we talked about this before. This is too much of that, close to that stock shape. So gotta change it. This to me is a must change. It doesn't have to be like, like a big drastic change, but the shape to me stands out as too much close to that stock one. And they will immediately pull that away from tour worthy. So like the green shape, you could almost like cut it off here at this slope. If you want to keep like the pin over here, that's cool. But you almost could take like that and cut it off and be totally fine. And again, this bunker here, they're going to wonder what's that about. So I don't think, I would think that this bunker comes into play on another tee box, which is fine. This one, again, they're going to question, like, what is it for? And that's where, again, I think I've said, put it up here. I'd maybe cut, like I said, I would cut maybe to right here, cut this out. You could do 1, 2, 3, and maybe like back somewhere in there, kind of maybe flatten out a little bit, but little bit cleaner there. That side looks pretty good. Is the secondary rough, is like the, if this is splined, this doesn't look like it has that secondary surface. It looks like it just goes from green to heavy rough. So again, when you're redoing this one, you'll want that, either that light rough to kind of blend it through, but this doesn't look like there's much on the secondary surface of a transition to green. It just goes green to heavy rough. So this will take you out of tour worthy. So again, I'd have an explanation for that bunker, even though you're not going to really be able to tell them. I would move it up here, cut that off, redo the green shape, and then make sure the secondary surface is there as well. On the upper portion of this bunker, I see this little burnout spot. I always like them a little bit more uniform. I'd put in heavy rough around this, just so it's similar. This back here, I would raise, so you can see this top portion. You kind of see how it's flattened up. It kind of goes back. I'd raise this up so it all kind of falls into this area. So, number of little thoughts. If you have a whole bunch of extra, there's a lot of like extra space out in here. I might put in like a lot of plants and make this really like a real grassy area. If you had plant meter. I know that is not the most fun thing to do. So that is what I would go with for this hole. Yeah, 120 feet, 40 up. It's a long way away. Yeah, I definitely cut it off on that other part. Definitely cut out, work on that bunker. So there's a number of things I would do for tour worthy status on this one, on that particular hole. I'd clean I'd clean this up so it's heavy rough, meaning they're big on surfaces, going fairway to light rough to heavy rough. I'd make sure all that's heavy rough and not burnout hitting. Not too bad on the mulch. Kind of mixed together. Nice. A little spare guy I'd probably get rid of. Same thing on this side. Again, if it's not, I would assume you probably use the cluster on these. I would make sure anything that's outside of that I would put either in or kind of clean that up. And then maybe take some of those and put it over here. Again, real tightly pinched. I would if I were you, I would heavily consider taking those 3 bunkers out, or these 2 bunkers on the left out, and expanding the fairway up and around and through, because the challenge would be to be about right here for your angle, and if you're up over here, you got to contend with that left one more, right? And so the last hole was a real heavy pinch. If you get too heavily pinched, I think they just, for whatever reason, they just don't like it. If I was you, I would heavily consider taking those 3 out, and then I'll get to the next shot in a minute. But this one here, again, lower the ground here, because that's an intimidating bunker, and I can see the thin line, but I would raise it up even more. So yeah, I would definitely expand up here, raise that back end up like 5 or 6 feet, so I can see it. So it's a presence. So I want to bail out over here. You might want to. I'm just trying to think. Well, no, that's fairway. Never mind. Never mind. You could potentially throw a few more trees in on the right, but other than that, I'm not too terribly worried. I'd get rid of maybe those 2 little straggler, or that little straggler. So yeah, make me challenge over there. And so the question they're going to have is why is there a disconnect here? Why is the fairway not connected? So unless there's some kind of natural like depression in the land that maybe would feed down this little valley towards the water, and you've got like some planting and stuff that would separate it, there's really no reason to have the separation. So connect this left side to this side of the fairway, and connect the right. Just I would connect it. Otherwise, they're going to wonder why the hell it's not. So it's unnecessarily awkward. But other than that, again, the surfaces around the bunkers, that there's more burnout, I'd make that more uniform. Put that heavy rough there. Make sure that heavy rough is all taken care of. This is a stadium where it's like there's going to be like immaculate surfaces. That's the vibe and the feeling I get. So I would make sure to have that same kind of consistency. Hey, a good shot. Love the background. Love the look. of the field. How did that not go in? That's terrible. God, I'm bad at this game. Okay. So, I think that's probably going to be marked. Or I like the way the trees are. I would extend those trees. There's no lighting reason why. I would honestly make a tree barrier all the way through there and all the way back. Like that space right there. Clusters of trees just all the way. Pull it up next to the tee box, all through here. All of that's nice, big group of trees. It's not going to interfere with your lighting, but it's going to block off the auto-generated stuff. That's what I would do. If you want to, you can. Yeah, but I would definitely put that auto. I would definitely fill that space with trees like you did up here. Extend it all the way back. That grass that you've got going out underneath the trees. Bury some bushes. Make it heavy brush. Everything. I would put it all right there. Red stake around the water. All around the water. It's gonna be for everyone. I'd put in maybe some planting and some stuff like that, like some rocks and stuff like that against the side of the lake. You could maybe even put like a fence that would go here. You wouldn't want anybody to come down into near the water, so maybe like a little fence that would go parallel from about where the people start to where maybe to like right there. So just along this section, just a little right along the cart path, just a little fence. Fill this area up with some planting, a lot of bushes, a lot of grass. And I would also bring the fairway down to here. And, oops, I'd have the fairway come down here and hook up. Just extend it. That way it makes it easier to see. And that's just me, but that's what I would do. That'll allow a lot more visuals. So, okay. Said it was going to be in depth. Again, surfaces around the bunkers, heavy rough. You can see those two. If we're going to see this one, I'd take that big circle fuzzy brush, lower that, so I can see that one up top. Can't really see that one, so if I want to, I'll just bail out here. I can't see the bunker very well. I can see the one near the green, but I can't see these two. So I would lower this ground. And we'll get it going. Jeez, terrible. Well, where would I be? Yeah, definitely make this all heavy rough. Oh. I want to see the shot from up here because I had it the other night and I want to see that water as it comes down. So this is the area. It's this area that's about right in through here. Lower this up. This is a beautiful shot. Make this visual. Absolutely make this visual so you can see everything. So lower that land. That to me, that's a must. That's the difference between this being an okay hole to I mean, look at that. That's awesome. So you can make that, From here, if this ground, this fairway in front of me gets lowered, and you make this hole a really great hole, fairway's nice, I might pull this bunker back a little bit, and so the transition up into the green can be a little less jaggedy. Red stake around this. I might plant along here, especially in here, maybe over in here, and up in, like, carry this planting down through. That's me. But that to me is the difference is from a great hole to a hole, approved to tour worthy. Those sight lines. It's gotten a lot better off the tee, a ton better off the tee. The visual on the second shot. It's not gonna be perfect every time, but that's gonna be a marquee shot on this course. So red stakes. All right. Again, really nice. See, like, this is where it's not. I'd probably bring this fairway back a little bit, just to about right here. Then it doesn't feel like there's a ton of dead. It just takes up the dead space. I'd still lower this, like the circle brush right there smack in the middle of them, and lower it about 8 feet. And probably have to lower up in front here too, just to make this seem like you want to carry this up here, very intimidating, very pinched off spot for a bailout. So I would take this and I'd expand the drop zone or the fairway. I'd expand this over here a little bit. I'd add that 10 yards or so, because that'll make it like I can be here, or I can really challenge and be better. But if I'm here, that's a much more difficult angle, especially that back left pin, compared to right here, where you're getting rewarded for the risk. So this is a great chance for a risk reward. I'd take advantage of it and make sure it's that those back bunkers are elevated so I can clearly see them, and this area is dropped so I can clearly see it. I'd make it a lot more defined. Great risk reward hole. This kind of feels, again, the dead space in here, they're going to ask why. So what you could do is maybe have like a little drop off right there from the first fairway, extend the second, because this almost kind of feels like this is like an elevated shot here where there is this drop off. So maybe I might try to run like some bushes or something like that and planting up here, especially kind of think of it as a drain to the creek. And I would extend the fairway out. You get the disconnect here. They're going to say like, well, why? It just doesn't. There's rough. There's no reason for it not to be connected. So that's what I'd say. Do either connect it or figure out like that canyon, some kind of reason why it's not. I would also take, if this shelter or fan viewing section here looks like is the reason for the shadow on the green, get rid of it and make it a platform, or just get rid of it altogether and just have crowds. That way you don't have shadows on the green. That's one thing they will eat you up with too, is shadows on the green. Love the lighting. I love what you're doing with it. Shadows on the green though. Bunker looks good. Might be able to flatten or lower this front portion a little bit. But it looks pretty good. But lighting on the green, they will definitely tag you for it. It's the only one, so it's not like it's that huge, but I would definitely consider. I wish I could like zoom around. I struggle so much with it. I was kind of wondering about this the other night. Yeah, now I like the straight on. Just the red markers. They might get you a little bit of what all this is for, but I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world. I try to, so it's not such a dramatic drop off, I'd take the fuzzy brush and I would go into the water about right here and hit the flatten, and you'll see that this edge will just soften, go down to like the more of the dramatic. That way it's more of a gradual decrease in. So, yeah. I don't mind it at all. Wondering what's going on in the back. Yeah, anywhere there's... Yeah, that's a tough pin going over that hump and then running away from you. That is tough. Hey, apparently. All you gotta do is apparently just say it's tough the whole way. So we go over the bridge. All right. I'm looking at like out there. I would definitely have like more trees to block the boundary. There's a couple of those little wayward auto-generated bushes in there I would definitely clean up, or just add a whole bunch of trees in there to kind of block it. Red stakes. Fuzzy brush there, that looks good. I'd probably mark that with some, well, that's okay. That part I don't mind too much. Get a couple of little spare grasses in there. I might try to widen this a little bit. These are really tough pinched drives. So I would probably try to do that, but probably want to hit the flatten on this one too, one more time. So like that 8, yeah, I haven't been able to notice those nice hole signs just because they're black. So change them to match the flags. Okay. I'd probably, again, that fuzzy brush. With this here, I probably wouldn't have to worry about doing much. I'd bring this down a little bit, but I'd put a lot of rocks then. Rocks and planting along that edge. And then a tree, a bunch of trees to block that, just the auto-generated background that comes from it. If you have to, I would pull the water back and flatten up that back portion of the, like pull the water back to here and flatten the ground. That way you can put more trees in, just so it's blocked and it feels more enclosed. That would be me. A guy got ripped on this for the stadium course, that this is a par 5, and I'm hitting 8 iron in it for my second shot. I would make this a par 4. I'd make this a hard par 4. What's the distance on this? Pause scorecard. Oh, there we go. Yeah, 515. I'd make it a par 4. And it's down. I'd make it a 4. And my dog is eating crayons. Jesus, Bentley. Get out of there. So, yeah, a guy on the stadium course contest, his first hole was like a 500 and low 500s, and guys were hitting and pitching wedges to par 5s. Like, no. That's dinged right away. For the drink. Okay. So I'd say make it a par 4. And a little land bridge, which is nice. All right. I think the green speeds you got on are perfect. Very well done. The green transitions are excellent. I love what you've done here. I would plant down in that little gully with some rocks and bushes and everything. Plant the hell out of that, red stake it. For fun, I'm going to go for it. I love the way this hole sets up, and I love the way this hole looks. I would personally love to be able to see if the line down 38 was in the middle of that water, or just even in the front of that water, I would really think about going. I'm going to see how close I am. But I know all three of us, I think Justin might have said he went for it. But unless there's wind to the back, yeah, it's like the whole design itself is enticing you, or wanting to entice you to go for it. And the smart play is out here. And if it's not up a little bit, it takes away that strategy. So I would move the tee box. I'd move this tee box up to about here, and I'd move the tees to maybe about right here, and see how it looks. But watch me hit the green, and I'm going to tell you it's just fine if it happens. Okay, here we go. Fast. Would it have gotten there? No, not even close. All right, so unless I get there, yeah, it's going to need to, I would bring it up, make people think about it, get the suckers for it. And that was much better. But I'd bring it up, like I said earlier, that then you can entice people to go for it. And then with wind, you'll get it. And people will really love this hole. On, whoop. Yeah, normal wind, I'm never thinking about going for it. And the whole design is for it. All right. Very good. I love the way the hole looks. I know what plays. It's pinched again, which is fine. I would bring, I'd either with this dead space here in the grass, I'd make this either water or I would make it a big hay grassy area spot that you could go in. I'm gonna see where this shot lands. I'm also kind of looking over here to the right. It's fairly barren. This is a space where I would either think about having like a concession stand, a bathroom, some more trees. Because if you think about the last hole, you saw the city, you saw like, and you see over the left, to the right looks a little barren with some automated, auto-generated bushes and stuff. I would have those details. In the very far distance, you have some of the city out there. I would maybe add a really tall building next to that building out there. That way I'm still getting that kind of that city vibe. I can kind of see it through the trees, but a really tall building, almost like in my, where my aim point is, would look really good. I'm wondering how much those bunkers are needed, but we're going to find out. Yeah. So they come into play. What you might want to consider. Where the hell am I? There we go. Is one more that when the arrow drops, I know it's a real down, but like this little curve, maybe one more in there. That way it looks like you actually are, you have to deal with them. Because before I was wondering if they came into play or not. They do, but it's like, well, do I really need to worry about them or don't I? Okay. That tree right there moves, so there's no shadow on the green. Same with that other one. Just space them out so they don't have them. This land right in here lower so I can see the front part of that bunker a little bit more. God damn it. And that, yeah, I like the way I can see that bunker up there on the top right. That looks good. But yeah, I cannot see the pin in that shadow. Especially with the pin right in the shadow. Yeah, move those trees. One of the bigger complaints people give is that there's shadow lines on the greens. Too distracting. To me, I don't really care. It happens in real life, but you'll find that it's a video game when it, they'll say, well, this is a video game, so you have to do it this way. And like, well, you have to think about it in real life. It's whatever's going to hurt you. Or people are going to, whatever they can justify for it as a complaint. There's good background there. Yeah, right into the towers. Try to feel like extend the fairway. I just don't want you to have so much. I would expand it to about even back here. All the way back here. Yeah, just to fill some of this dead space. A lot of pinched. I would consider, if I was you, this is total preference. So this is where I'm going to get into my preference versus something else. But I might preference, if I'm thinking about it, a lot of my shots have been I can challenge on the right for the best angle and kind of bail on the left. So I might say like, take this bunker out and kind of straighten this out. I don't know, one side or the other, and kind of make it open and make the bunkers nudge people to one side or the other. It kind of feels like it's more like nudge them to the left instead of nudge them to the right. But that's me. Again, that's a personal thing. I'd say it just feels like a lot of pinched. And yeah, definitely back up the green or the fairway. And that city view looks great. Try that, looks good. Jesus, I'm so bad at this. Good deal. Green looks solid. A 3-tier green. Elevated up nicely. Really nice sight. Yeah. I bet you that this might even be short. Yep. But your transitions into your greens, God, man, so much better. So much better. See this, the fairway comes up closer. Like that. Maybe you could even do a little bit more. The second bunker I cannot see at all, so that's got to be elevated if you want it. Again, real pinched, real heavily guarded landing areas. I'd maybe, this is one I might try to, you have the trees be here, try to nudge them towards the trees and maybe take out that right side. But definitely need to elevate that back side, that back bunker, so you can see it more. Let's say that where the burnt out spot is on the fair, near the bunker, or in front of it. It looks like just an auto-generated couple of trees or a couple of plants. There's the mix in. See these trees here? They all look very similar. Like you just kind of went boom, 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 boom. Mix in just a couple of trees just to break it up. So it almost looks like you just kind of went in a straight line. Like I think it still looks good. I would just do that. Again, they're going to ask why the disconnect. So you might put in a little pond or something like that, but justify why these, in an area of just grass, the fairways don't connect. To me, the view on this shot looks pretty good. I might lower this portion here a little bit. You might want to consider lengthening it. Let's see my scorecard again. And let's check out the distances. 595, 515, 549, 512. Okay. Because, yeah, you get that. Yeah. I wouldn't mind making this a 71. I might lengthen this one a little bit more and keep it a 5. You got room. Again, the trees on the... But you got room to push this green back another 15 yards. 15, 20 yards. So I'd like it. Get rid of the trees on the green. The background looks nice. So yeah, justify why it's disconnected. I really like the way this looks. I like it. Feels like something could be right in here. I don't know if it just needs to be kind of like a little drainage area. Or what? Colors further around the green. This is like a little tabletop. Little auto-generated tree getting in everybody's way. Okay. That back right side bunker probably could be raised some. But other than that, flatten that out. Go back to the right, then go back to the... Oh, that'd have been a good putt. The thing is, the playability of this thing is not an issue. You can go out here and shoot it. It's just in the small details that these guys are going to just hammer people on. Love the view on this tee box. See, this is probably a good example. You nudge me to the right. I know the water's here, but it's not like, and I know it's pinched. It is pinched with water. So you got your, I hate I can't do this. I would also, that's a very raised bunker, which is important for the sideline of the hole. What I would probably do to lessen that, because like, geez, that's really, really raised, is maybe try to raise some of this area over here, just to kind of make it more of like a natural hill back behind it. And it's kind of coming off that hill. That's something that I would heavily consider, just trying to make that transition where it's up a little bit more natural, maybe lower here a little bit. Red stakes. Might want to vary this up a little bit than just the one stripe down the line. So some more trees. If you make a hill and you kind of decorate the hill a little bit, get rid of all the auto-generated stuff back there. What I am going to do is try to apparently plan this thing in the worst I possibly can. I wish I could probably... Again, you might want to push this thing back a little bit. What's the distance on this? What, 15? Yeah, 512, 515. You have a 507 par 4. I would try to push this thing into the 540 range on both of them. 530, 540. That'll be good. Then you got a long one at 595, some mid ones. 12, you could probably push up to 565 or so. But I might try to increase that distance a little bit. from the sand. I should not be able to get this in two. That should be my penalty for hitting it in. And I'm over. I should have gone 5 hybrid. I want to see this waterfall. Make the one pin. Force him to putt this way. So put your one pin that's played a lot down in this like front corner. So if I'm coming, I want to be putting in this direction so I can see that work. That's some really nice work. So make it so when I come in from the back, I'm putting back towards the waterfall and I can see it. Does that make sense? If you have questions, you can always ask me. But that's what I'd look at. Might be on a yellow down slope back towards me. Be careful. Getting close. Up 5 from a short distance. That looks real, pretty lime greenish. That might almost be considered an illegal pin. I don't think it's bad. I think it should be allowed anyway, but those guys have a little, like I said, they're touchy. Okay, nice and flat. Those tree variances a little bit. See how they all kind of like reach out at the top? They just look very, very similar. Those 3 in a row all look like they've grown, and then that one. So just vary it up a little bit. Maybe throw another tree or 2 in. I would try to pinch. Again, pinched, I would try to fade. I take out one side or the other and fade them in a certain direction. I try to fade them left, so they have to shoot over the water. And if they get into the rough, that's going to be real challenging. But I probably wouldn't go bunkers on both sides. Tough if you're going to keep them on the left. You can see it looks like one long one. I can see this one here, so that's not bad. You might, I didn't realize there was one in front. You might want to lower the ground right here. Like the houses. The neighborhood feel looks good. Always with houses, I always try to like a white fence because it's kind of marks like an out of bounds, and make sure like there's out of bounds is marked. Let's see. I would definitely mark it out of bounds. That way if some idiot actually went over there and hit it, they'd be out of bounds. This out here doesn't really, I don't know who's ever going to lay it right there. If you're going to have a runoff, make that real steep on that side, and then cut that in half. Because they'll be like, what's that? Like nobody's ever going to play over here. And your runoff shouldn't be that long. I'd say you can cut it to right there if you're going to have that runoff. That looks good. Probably raise this land right there so I can see this bunker a little bit more. But again, like it. Good stadium feel up there. I like the variation of the tree on the right and the trees on the left. That looks really nice and natural. So here we go. You almost see those trees back there? Look at, so again, when I talked about on the last hole, putting back into your some really good work. That is it's a nice background. I would try to maybe decorate up the bottom of those. I always think that like a real bushy area, you know, areas you don't want to go. It's trees. It's not manicured. So if you had like a whole bunch of grasses and stuff like that underneath that collection of trees up there, that really stands out in this shot. Over on the left, I love the way the sun comes through. You got a building over there, and on the right, you see a few trees. And if you had a little bit more of that, the planting around the water looks good. If those are the details, I think that if you can add some of that with the plant meter, I would. Ooh, 60s. All right, onward and upward. It's a unique one. I'd maybe try to bring up the land in front. Like it's hard to say. It's hard to describe, I guess. I'd kind of flatten it out a little bit here. That way, if I was a superintendent, it would be a little bit more easy to manicure or manicure. And then I would make this a lot of planting, a lot of bushes, a lot of bushes. So it's like it just runs bushes up into the bunkers. So just have it come all, I'd have it come up all the way through here. It's kind of a little, its own little island. Okay. Okay, nice view. Stake it red with water. If these people are all going to watch, try to like, this is how they would view the, not much of a seat. So if you can, as a whole, I would try to elevate this back area. So people who are actually in there watching you could see you putt and will actually watch you putt. Because outside of the people up there in that tent, those people in front of it, they can't see the play. All right. So my checklist might be long, but it's not like super, I don't think would work as super time consuming. Again, justify the break in the fairway. Pinched a little bit safer, a little bit more of a safer portion of it. I might, if I was you, I mean, this is where I'm going to be shooting. And it cuts off pretty good. I don't know if you need that upper left bunker. I don't know if you need that upper right bunker. There's that severe drop off. I'd make this much more natural. They will definitely rip you on that. They'll definitely. So it's take that big circle fuzzy brush and just expand over this whole big area. Whole big area. And have that. You see the fairway off on the right, or from the left. You see the climb up, which is just fine. But again, they will. They marked a guy for having a third of that on a bunker, as we saw in one of the videos. So definitely smooth that out. I would drop. I would drop the grass a little bit so I can kind of get a a feel for it. It seems a little high, but I think the general idea of what getting something through there is not a bad one. Again, you're trying to justify why the split in the fairway. I think you're trying there. So whatever you want to do to keep it going. Heavy rough through, crowned, crown green. I don't mind it, especially considering I'm only 120 out. Over there to the right and the off in the distance, nothing there. So I think if you added that big tall building back there, it would be in there. Also with the town and everything, I kind of like the water towers and the windmills. They can kind of put in the background. Jeez, so bad. I deserve to go down in there. Go. But like all these people can see your shot. All these people can now see, for the most part. I mean, I can get down to their shoulder level. The last hole I couldn't even get down it, and I can see you. The last hole I could not. What a putt. What a putt. All right, 18. 18. Here we go. There's that rough, heavy rough to light rough to green. Nice. To fairway to hit. I might smooth out, like, I would bring your fairway over to that edge with a drop off as far as you can. Because again, these are nitpicky, but it's what's justifying the jump jet out right there. Just make it nice and smooth. Make it nice and smooth. I might try to take the fuzzy brush to try to make it so it's kind of a backstop all along through here instead of that drop off on the cliff. Red stake. It's flat, so that's good. Over here to the right, doesn't seem like there's much going on in here. Again, is there some buildings or something like that, like on-course buildings, sheds? If you were superintendent, where would you put like some of the storage stuff? Is this a place for it? Things of that nature. Like what can you do about some of that dead space on the right that's just trees? It might not seem like much, but it always kind of it's it will capture the eye of those detailed people that love your environment. Love the twin towers. Visual, I can see the hole really well, so I might take that fuzzy brush. Yeah, no, that's okay. I was gonna say, and kind of smooth it out. You can, but if you're gonna have the little cliff, that's okay. I don't think that's a big deal. I would assume that bunker right here is there for another tee box. Is what I'm gonna guess. Back there might be the place for the windmills, the water towers, that kind of stuff too. Don't overuse them. I'm not too worried about that bunker over there too, because I saw it on from the tee. 18th hole, I don't mind the bad seats. Man. There you go. And then on the list, 71, I think what should be a 71. I'm a challenge circuit player, so this would be the person who was going for it anyway. So 71, yeah, not too bad. That's what I would do, man. Good, it's coming along really good. Don't be discouraged by all the stuff, but that'll be the to get you a tour on a spot. So anyway, let me know if you have any questions, and I'll send you this link now. See you, buddy.